Good morning, everybody. This is C. Ankit Kumar Jain, and let us start with GST in India and introduction. So, Article 366 of the Constitution, 12A of the GST means that GST means any tax on supply of goods, services, or both except alcohol for human consumption. So it clearly states that GST is a tax which is on supply of goods. So important term here is supply of goods and services or both, and except for alcohol, liquor for human consumption. So constitutionally, alcohol, liquor for human consumption has been taken out of GST. A compulsory payment it means what? A compulsory payment under an act to the government to provide the public services. Correct? In India or globally, we have two types of taxes: direct tax and indirect tax. So let us understand the difference between the direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax imposes on taxpayer. Burden is on the person on whom the tax is imposed. Correct? Example, you have income tax, and this is progressive in nature. The more your income, the more your taxes. Indirect taxes, it is imposed on goods and services. Very important. This indirect taxes is imposed on goods and services, and it is not on basically your income. Correct? So the burden is shifted to ultimate consumer who is going to consume those goods and services. So GST and customs is some example of this, and it is regressive in nature. That means whether you are rich, you are poor, whatever you are, you will be levied the GST or the taxes of indirect taxes in the same manner, right? So if you go to a restaurant, even a rich person goes, the VAT GST rate is same, and it is for the same for a common man also, right? So why does this GST came into existence? Because there were certain deficiencies in the existing tax system, that is cascading effect. Tax on tax was happening in the previous regime, non-integration of VAT and service tax. So what happened in the previous regime was that there was no direct integration as far as this your VAT and service tax was concerned, and because of this it is causing double taxation. So both the systems were not talking to each other. Correct? So in order to avoid such hindrances, what are the various features of GST? It is tax on supply of goods and services. We have already understood this. Correct? It is a consumption based tax. That means wherever the consumption is happening, that state is going to get the revenue out of it, right? It is a destination based tax. It is a value added tax, right? So consumption based taxes means whoever is going to consume is going to bear the burden of the tax. Destination tax means जहां पे वो कंज्यूम हो रहा है, दैट स्टेट इज गोइंग टू गेट द रेवेन्यू आउट ऑफ इट. इट इज अ वैल्यू एडेड टैक्स. एट एवरी स्टेज वेर एवर दिस वैल्यू एडिशन, द टैक्स विल बी एडेड ऑन द एडिशनल पार्ट. Now, what are the benefits of GST? Creation of unified national market, boost to Make in India initiative, enhance investment and employment, mitigation of ill effects of cascading, elimination of multiple taxes, elimination of double taxation, reduction in the price of goods, increase in government revenue, and lower compliance costs to the traders. Correct? Now, while introducing GST, the taxes which were levied in India, either through central or the state, some central taxes got subsumed. What are those taxes which got subsumed into GST? That is central excise duty, service tax, CVD and special CVD, central sales tax, surcharges and cess. Correct? Similarly, certain taxes of states were also subsumed. That is state surcharges and cess, entertainment tax, except the entertainment tax levied by local bodies, tax on lottery, betting and gambling, entry tax, purchase tax, VAT and sales tax, and luxury tax. Correct? So what are the pending taxes which is not subsumed into GST? Very important to know this. Basic custom duty is still leviable. ET levied by entertainment tax levied by the local bodies. Correct? That is still leviable. Property tax and stamp duty, still it is leviable. Electricity duty, SED on alcohol for human consumption, and CED on 5 petrol products are still there, which is leviable under the different acts, either by the center or by the state. Correct? Now, understanding what is trade and commerce and what is interstate supply and intrastate supply. इंट्रास्टेट का मतलब ये होता है, इफ द ट्रांजैक्शन दैट इज द बायर एंड सेलर आर विद इन द सेम स्टेट, then it is called as intrastate supply, and what taxes you apply is CGST and SGST. Correct? Similarly, if both the buyer and seller are in the same union territory, then also you apply CGST and UTGST. Correct? Interstate supply on the other hand means different states or different union territories, if there's a transaction between them, that means buyer is in one state and seller is in another state, it is called as interstate supply, and the tax that is levied is IGST. Right? In India, there are 28 states, CG, and in that states you have CGST, SGST, and 9 union territories. Union territories Delhi, Pondicherry, Jammu Kashmir, and these also have their own legislature, and hence they are called as states only. And 6 union territories are called as CGST. I will apply CGST and UTGST. You will understand the definition of states and union territory in the coming sessions. Now, वेरियस गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज, अल्कोहल लिकर फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन के ऊपर आपका क्या लगता है? स्पेशल एक्साइज ड्यूटी एंड वैट एंड सीएसटी विल बी एप्लीकेबल एज दे आर आउटसाइड द स्कोप ऑफ जीएसटी. 5 procedural product, CED and central excise duty, VAT and CST would be applicable, correct? So alcohol for human consumption, state will be charging. 5 petroleum products, central excise duty will be there, VAT and CST will be there. Tobacco, CVD and GST, and all other goods which are pending other than these products, that is alcohol, liquor for human consumption, 5 petrol products and tobacco. Other than that, any other goods which are supplied or services which are supplied, on that GST would be levied. Constitutional provisional article. Now, before getting into understanding GST, constitutionally कैसे valid है GST, let us understand this. So constitution में 265 article number states that no tax shall be levied or collected except by authority of the law. So constitution itself says कि अगर authorized नहीं है law के हिसाब से, then there cannot be any levy or collection of tax. Article 245 states that Parliament may make law for whole of India or any part of the territory of India, right? So Parliament, being a central body, can make law for the whole of India or any part of the territory of India, and state legislature may make law for whole or any part of the state, correct? Now, Article 246, 7th schedule, divides the power to make the law into 3 lists, correct? So ये जो power है कि central government, that is parliament, किसके लिए करेगा law, कौन से tax के लिए करेगा, state कौन से tax के लिए करेगा, that is given in article 246. In the 246 7th schedule states that divides power to make the law into 3 lists. First list is the union list, where the parliament or central government will make the taxes. Second list is the state list, where the state government will make the taxes. And third is the concurrent list, where either the state or union territory union list, union, that is the central government, will make the levy of taxes. Now, here there is no provision which talks about that both the center and the state can levy the taxes together. Hence, there came a new article 246A, which provides the power to parliament and state legislature to levy GST simultaneously, correct? So when you read this article 245, 246 and 265, there is no way where both the center and the state can levy the taxes together. And you know that if it is an interstate transaction or intrastate transaction, you have to apply what? CGST, SGST and IGST, which is combination of both the taxes, correct? So here 246A states that it provides the power to whom? Parliament and state legislature to levy GST simultaneously, and parliament has exclusive power to make law, GST law, with respect to interstate trade and commerce. That means whenever you talk about interstate trade and commerce, it is purely and purely the central government or the parliament which will be having the power. But as far as other transactions are concerned, both the parliament as well as the state legislature will have the power to levy GST simultaneously. Now, as we know that there's going to be concurrence or working together of GST and Parliament and the state. So GST Council was constituted on 15th of September 2016, which included 33 members, that is 2 union minister, 31 state finance minister. We can see above in the point number 9 that there are 28 states and 3 union territories. So total there are 31 state finance minister, and half quorum should be there in order to pass any of the decision. Then you have weightage of votes. Central will have 1/3 vote and state government will have 2/3 of the weightage. Majority of this decision, 3/4 of the weighted votes should be there in order to come to any decision, correct? Then there's certain common portal, GST common portal, gst.gov.in, e-way bill GST, which is managed by the GST and functions of the GST and includes what? So this common portal is maintained by the GSTN, and what are the functions of this GSTN includes? It facilitates registration, if anybody wants to take registration, forwarding returns to central and state authorities, computation and settlement of IGST. Then how will IGST be settled, right? So IGST once collected, that has to be that has to be passed to the state government, correct? So how will that computation be made? How will that settlement will be made? That is directly on the system, correct? Matching of tax payment details with banking networks. Whenever you make the payment, you make an online payment, so you have to map that with the banking network. Provide MIS report providing analysis of taxpayers profile, correct? So this is what is the role of GST and as such. So with this we conclude our first chapter, GST in India introduction, and now we'll be continuing the next chapter in the next audio clip, that is goods, services, and what do you mean by supply, correct? So till that time, take care, study well. This is C. Ankit Kumar Jain, your IDT Mind Mapper.